to the She Hustles segment where I take the time to highlight those that have accomplished some outstanding things that everyone should hear as a source of motivation and inspiration. This week, we celebrate none other than Jessica Nabongo, I hope I pronounced that properly, founder of Jet Black, The Catch, and the first Black woman to travel to every country in the world. I'm excited. Today I have the privilege of speaking with her. Hi, Jessica.
Hi, Kay. How are you?
I am doing amazing. It's my favorite month. I'm feeling blessed. And how are you?
I'm doing well. I'm at home preparing for another trip, so things are going as normal.
That's beautiful. If you don't mind sharing, where is that next trip to?
I'm actually going to Uganda, which is my homeland. So
beautiful.
I haven't been since 2017. So I'm excited to get back, to spend some time with family, and
that is
enjoy
amazing.
the sunshine.
I don't pick up the accent, so that means you've been away for too long.
Well, no, I was born in the U.S., but all of my family is from Uganda.
Okay.
And I'm a dual citizen, so yeah.
For Uganda and for the States?
Yeah, exactly.
That's beautiful. Even though that isn't something I really wanted to go into this week, I just want to ask out of curiosity because I like to travel as well, and my family is from Jamaica, and I always consider, is that something I should do, getting a dual citizenship for out there? What are your opinions on like doing that with like where your, I guess, family is from, and who do you really like recommend that stuff for?
I think, number one, you have to make sure you're eligible. So it depends. Every country is different. Some countries allow dual citizenship, some don't. I believe Uganda started allowing dual citizenship in 2009. I want to say it was either 2008 or 2009. So relatively recently. And the reason I did it is for a number of reasons. Number one, because I'm very proud of my Ugandan heritage, and it's very much part of who I am and how I grew up. And number two, it gives me access. It gives me access in a different way. So, like when I'm traveling on the continent, most times I use my Ugandan passport because then I don't have to pay for a visa, which obviously saves me a lot of money. And part of even the journey to every country in the world, I use my Ugandan passport as much as possible, even outside of the continent, because I really wanted people to see like an African passport holder who is traveling only for tourism. Because I think those images are important even for like immigration officers.
Definitely. I love that you said that, because also on the site I've said that this month for Black History, I felt like a lot of the time, not that I'm denying slavery, because it is a part, just a small, not a small, but it is a part of our history. But I also feel like, every year I kind of do the typical Black History facts, and not that I'm ever bored of it, but this year I was like, time to kind of look in a different aspect. And if you go on the site, the first thing that I have there is that Black History this month is all about representation, and not how they see us, but how we see ourselves. And I'm noticing that is a lot of the conversation going off with those of like Ava DuVernay and all the people, I feel like Sean King, pushing the culture forward and still bringing awareness to like important things going on. So I feel like you even saying that, it just even solidifies what I've been feeling. The conversation about Black people should start being more frequently. So that's beautiful.
Yeah, it's interesting because I was in Ghana in December, and I was talking to this artist. She's an artist, and she's an interior designer, and she had this installation. And really, the point of her installation was to say, like, our history didn't start with slavery. And I think that's the biggest thing that I've been thinking about lately. I think representation is absolutely important. Slavery is a thing that happened and completely shifted the entire world. But there's a whole history of the world before 1619, you know? And I think it's really important to talk about the people who are doing things then. If we think about, like, what's his name, Musa, the Malian who, like, so rich that Europeans were talking about him.
Yeah.
You know, if we think about, you know, just going back into African history, because Black History Month obviously started in the U.S. and it's very U.S. focused, and there's so many Americans, Black Americans, who have literally changed our world. If we think about Garrett A. Morgan, who created the light bulb, or the stoplight, the traffic light,
yes.
And people like that who literally impact us every single day. But that's all built on the foundation of what Africans did for the world. And so I think there's a lot of learning to do. Because
teaching.
Yeah. So I think that's something that we probably should spend, I at least should spend some more time doing, because if you really think about it, like, first of all, 54 countries in Africa only really started existing in the 50s, right? Like, those weren't countries. There were kingdoms.
Yeah.
And so I think what would be amazing is, like, if we spend a lot more time focusing on those kingdoms, what they were, who they were, and things like that.
Definitely. And I would love to, I actually didn't know that part of the stories or the facts, so I would love to research and learn about that. And I'm sure there's a lot of people, especially the young, I would say like 20s to early 40s range, we're willing to listen. We're willing to now make sure that for the generation coming behind us, which is, I believe they say Generation Z, is kind of like informed, and we're able to now change these laws and change the way children are even taught in schools, right? So we're definitely, I agree with you 1000%. And I would also like to say, before we get further into the conversation, that thank you so much for just what you represent and what you do. I don't, for me growing up, because I'm in my late 20s, but for me growing up, a lot of the time, I spent a lot of time researching and searching for people to look up to, or people that have done things that maybe I would have thought as an idea, but there was no one in reaching grasp that I could say, oh, but this person has done it, to like physically attach it to something, to know that it's like attainable. So thank you for what you've done, and just your, even as simple as you say, using your passport, your Ugandan passport, to make that awareness possible. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
You're bomb. I have to let you know. I have to let you know.
Thank you. You know, it's still really interesting for me, because I'm like, you know, I recognize the importance of what I did, but on the flip side, I'm like, well, I really just got on and off planes. Like, logistically, it was a nightmare, and it took a lot of planning. But, you know, it just goes to show how, it just goes to show how much we're lacking. You know what I mean? Because this is something that I wanted to do for myself for a really long time, and it was just like getting to a place where I could sort of figure it out logistically. But the fact that that has moved so many people in so many ways, and beyond Black women and Black people, I mean, I get messages from people literally all over the world telling me what seeing my journey has done for them, and I'm so humbled. But I really just hope that beyond traveling to every country in the world, I hope that people see me and realize that their dreams are valid, and truly anything you can dream, you can achieve. Like, you actually can do it. And I hope that's what people get from my journey.
I do.
I love
so,
that.
I want to ask you, Jessica, who's Jessica now versus Jessica prior to you traveling?
Well, I've been traveling since I was 4 years old, so I don't think there is
a lot of young kids
Jessica
that haven't. So
yeah, for sure. I don't think there is a Jessica without travel. It's so much a part of who I am. Like, my interest in geography, I'm a nerd. All of that, it's just so much a part of who I am and a part of who I've always been. And I guess what you're getting to is how has travel changed me. that's the most important part for me around traveling. And I think through meeting so many people from so many different walks of life, I've really changed my view of the world in that I now believe everyone on this planet to be my neighbor. I believe every stranger to be a potential friend. I think what I've learned is that most people are good and we're more similar than we are different. And so through all of those lessons, I think that travel has probably opened my heart towards humanity in a way that I could have never imagined.
That is so beautiful. And it's like, for you also, what is it like traveling as a person of color to all of these destinations? What is that lens like?
So I mean, I can't really say, like, I can only talk about my experience, and I understand where this comes from, but I feel like the challenge is whenever people say, what's it like traveling as a Black woman, I don't know what it's like to travel as anyone else.
Yeah.
So, it's hard to say, this is what it's like. I can tell you what my experiences are like, and, obviously you can see the body that I am living in, but I think it's dangerous to say that my experience as a Black woman will be similar to other Black women because, number one, the experience of Blackness is not a monolith, largely because we're all treated in different ways based on how people view us. Like, I'm very visibly African. So my experience is going to be very different than someone who, is at the lighter end of the spectrum.
Yes.
But what I will say is that 99% of my travel experiences are positive. I've definitely had some issues that clearly were based on race. I've had issues that were clearly based on gender, but it's such a small portion of my experiences. Because like I said, most people are good, and I don't say that lightly. The fact of the matter is that most people in the world are welcoming and they want you to come to their country, even in places where, like, it's interesting because I recently put up a post on Instagram asking people which countries are you afraid to visit and which ones are you curious to visit. And, I could predict what the answers would be. Most people are afraid of, like, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan.
Yeah.
Some Black people said they were afraid of Russia and Eastern Europe. Some women said they were afraid of, like, Muslim countries. So it was really interesting, but, like, to the person who was afraid of, like, Russia and Eastern Europe, I had an amazing time in Russia. St. Petersburg is so beautiful, and people were so kind, even those who didn't speak English.
Yeah.
And then as far as Eastern Europe, like, I love Bosnia, Montenegro, cool. Croatia's great. Like, so there's so many countries.
Just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's the thing. But some people have heard negative stories from other Black people. They're like, oh, well, I heard Russians don't like Black people. Because your one Black friend went and had a negative experience, and so you're going to discount the experience of, like, tens of thousands of other people. All of that to say, I think we have to take negative stories with a grain of salt in the same way that we clearly take positive stories with a grain of salt.
Definitely.
Because you'll hear 10,000 positive stories, and one negative story, you'll be like, oh, I can't go to that country because this happened to Jessica. Like, that's not the moral of this.
But also, I feel like, because I personally follow you on Instagram as well, and I love, like, your questions and your posts, and just, like, I love watching your lives. You'll just, like, answer everything, so I really appreciate it. But also, what I'd say is you, like, what I get from you is, like, you exude an approachable, like, positive energy, though. Like, from what I, like, feel, even just, like, being a follower, like, from that point of view. And I feel like maybe that's even what helps your experiences to be better, because you're walking into it thinking, just like you're speaking on, good person, and you're not going into it thinking, oh, I'm Black, this person's this, automatically they don't, you don't put yourself in that box. So I feel like that,
oh, absolutely,
from the jump, makes your experience 10 times better. Now, I'm a really greedy person, and I'm all about the food. So, what do you eat when you go to all these places? Like, what do you eat? I know, as we were speaking, I recently just came back from Barbados. It was amazing. I ate everything. Epic, epic, epic. But what do you eat when you go to the places like Bosnia and Australia and different places like that?
I mean, I'm eating whatever they're eating. I mean, it's typically, well, I don't eat fast food anywhere. So, like, I don't ever
do you
run
consider
to
like fast food, like the chains?
Like American chain restaurants. Okay. Yeah, I don't eat chain restaurants typically in the U.S. nor abroad. So, like, I know. So I run a company called Jet Black. It's a boutique travel agency, and we did a trip to Kenya, and I remember within 24 hours, some of my guests had gone to KFC, and I was like, really? Like, you're away from home for 7 days, and within 24 hours, you're eating KFC, which I thought was disappointing. So for me, like, I totally eat whatever they're eating. I don't eat a ton of meat in my life. There's definitely zero meat when I'm in the U.S. where I can help it. But I eat everything when I travel. Within reason, I guess. But yeah, I love trying local food. I typically avoid going to like touristy places. So I like going to restaurants where like I'm the only foreigner there. When I'm at my hotel, or if I have a guide, like I'll ask them to take me to very like authentic places where they would go with their families. Because I feel like that's the best way, not only to experience the food of a country, but just to sort of get the cultural vibe. Like, when you're the only foreigner in a place, I mean, obviously people are like, what the hell is going on? Why is this person here? But it allows you to really get a vibe of the place. People, and I feel like people love to see you in those spaces because it's so out of context, and they're just like, okay, what's going on? Like, we want to know a little bit more. Yeah. And that's another great way to meet locals as well.
I love that. So if you can name maybe like 2 things quickly that you've ate and you're like, this is phenomenal, and if you ever go here in the world, you need to eat this, what would you say?
I don't know that I can name a particular dish.
It's just that.
But I can name like some of my favorite food countries.
Definitely.
So some of my favorite food countries, Italy, of course. Georgia, which I think is amazing, and people probably don't know much about the country. Japan, Senegal, and India.
My belly's just like inviting all of that in right now. Yes.
Mine too. I'm also hungry.
Yes. So, what are some of the most powerful things you've learned in your life, and what country would you like associate that growth with?
Well, I think probably most people are good is probably the most powerful thing that I've learned. And the thing that has changed so much for me in terms of how I move through the world. But obviously I can't say that's about like one experience in one country. It's just, it's a culmination of all of my experiences throughout my life. But that's one thing. And I think the other thing that I've learned, and you sort of mentioned it earlier, is like the power of positivity. I was not always a super positive person. People who've known me for a long time can, speak to some of my earlier days that were not that great. But it was really in 2013. So in 2012, December 2012, I quit my job. I was working in Rome at the UN, and I quit my job, and my team brought me several books. And one of the books that they brought me was Instructions for Happiness and Success. And so in January of 2013, I didn't really know what to do, so I bought like a ticket to go to Buenos Aires, where I had a friend from grad school living, and I planned to spend like 6 weeks just exploring South America. And during that time, I read this book, and I think it's really the same. Secret and like, you know, all of these books that really talk about like manifestation and being positive and all of that. And it was really in 2013 where I started to complain because I was like, oh my God, be positive and your life is going to change. Okay, sure, it's that easy. And then it's like, oh, it's wow, it's literally, right, but it's that easy, you know what I mean? And it's like, to the extent where I can like try to help explain that to people, I'm like, y'all, it really is that easy. Like, I know it sounds crazy, trust me, but it really is that easy. And the thing is, like, for example, I've been to 195 countries, right? I've never had food poisoning. And I really believe positive energy coats my stomach. Because I'm never going into a thing like, ew, look at that, it's so dirty, oh my God, I'm gonna get sick. Oh, don't eat that, you're gonna get food. I never ever have looked at anything like that. I've eaten things that I remember I was in Pakistan and I was with this photographer and I saw this street food and I was like, ooh, I wanna try that. And he was like, don't eat that, it'll mess you up. I was like, but I wanna try it. All these other people are eating it, and he's like, do not eat that. And I was like, I'm going to eat it. Well, and I ate it, and it was delicious, and I never got sick. It was like lentil being cooked like kind of as a stew, and then there was this bread, which was kind of like roti. And it was delicious. It was good. And I was fine. Sounds like but, you know, because it was on the street, he's like, he was just kind of like, I don't eat that stuff. You shouldn't either.
Some people I think certain,
Yeah, but it's just literally, I feel like you said, like, I think it's just the positive energy. Like, I'm not going into it thinking I'm going to get food poisoning if I eat this street food. I'm just going into it like, what's this? I'm curious. Let me try it out. And then I do. P.S. Good, and I'm fine.
P.S. If you were to start a book club, I would be like your first member, just so you know.
I know. I feel like I should. I
definitely should.
So much.
Definitely should. I would love to join that book club. So sign me up.
Okay. Let me think on that. Yeah, I read a lot. Like even right before this call, I was reading. I try to read at minimum an hour a day, which I still don't feel like is enough. But yeah, I've been
trying, but it's like sometimes this guilt comes for me where it's like, oh, I could be working on this or I could be working on this, but it's like,
but how many hours do you spend on social media per day?
Exactly. For me, it's more for work, but definitely true. So creating Jet Black, I love the concept. Love the fact. For me, what I would say, what I get from it, if like I were to travel with you, is I feel more comfortable because I'm just being honest for myself as a Black woman. You're Black. I'd be like, okay, wherever she's went, I'm good. You've already been there. You seem like a fun person, so I wouldn't want something like uptight. I want to have fun. So, what was your what inspired Jet Black, and what was the experience like creating?
So Jet Black came about because I was planning a honeymoon for a friend of mine, and you know, because I was like, oh, you know, you're a man of celebrity. And so when I knew he was engaged, I was like, oh, you should definitely go to Africa for your honeymoon because, like, you know, you're a man of influence, and I think it's really important that we sort of shift the idea about Africa, you know. And so then he was like, okay, we'll plan it. And I was like, what? Okay, cool. And so I was just sort of planning this thing for me. I could totally do this. And then, and that's when I decided to do it. And for me, in the beginning, I was focusing on increasing tourism for Africa, Central and South America, and the Caribbean. Now it's definitely wider than that, now that I've been to every country in the world. But we still do focus, like, that's still our specialty, because I feel like, I mean, obviously there's other people who know a lot about the continent, but I think, like, my competitive advantage, if you will, is that, number one, obviously I've been to every country in the world, but yeah, just having an understanding of, like, because most of what we do is luxury, not most, all of what we do is luxury. So it really is like just giving people a lens into traveling to these Black and brown countries, but with a luxury edge to it.
That is so dope. Love it. And please don't stop doing it. Now, I also noticed, correct me if I'm wrong, but I also noticed sometimes I'll see you say, like, you're going to a certain place, and if people can join you, is that also...
Well, it's pretty rare, but yeah, so I host trips with groups. I host trips with Jet Black. So we used to host a lot more. We used to do, like, I think in what year was that? 2016, 2017, we were doing like 10 trips a year. But I've had to cut back on them because obviously I have other things that I'm doing now.
Yeah.
But probably twice a year we'll do it. So we have a trip coming up to Jordan in April. It's already sold out. So the thing is, if you want to go on a trip with me, you have to be super quick because there's only ever 10 spots.
Yeah.
Because I like it to remain like sort of intimate. So we have a trip coming up. It's going to be in September. We're going to be announcing it soon. So definitely go to globaljetblack.com, sign up for our newsletter so you can be one of the first to know. Because like I said, there's only 10 spots. And then
can we get a hint as to where this location might be in September?
It's going to be to the country of Georgia.
Love it. All right. September's my birthday month, so I'm kind of like...
Okay. Yes. It's going to be really, really great. This is actually the first time I'm talking about it. It's going to be a food and wine tour, which is something we haven't done before.
Yes.
Yeah, so I'm really excited about it because it's really focusing on eating 3 amazing meals every single day. So.
I love to watch a lot of food and travel like vlogs on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
And Georgia is one of my favorite places. Like when they explain how the food came about and you have like some Creole influence there and like certain things. Oh yeah, it's amazing out there. Now most group trips, they don't, in my opinion, they don't usually work out on my end. How do you properly plan a group trip?
Do you mean private or like
me and my girls or things along that line?
So I think number one, you can't travel with everyone.
Facts.
That's the biggest thing. Even if you're like friends with someone, that doesn't mean they're a good travel partner. So I think that's the most important thing to remember. Number two, I would say you want to have different types of personalities. So maybe there's a person who's like super anal and they're like, okay, I need to see this and this and this, and you know, like I'm gonna wake up at 7 a.m. and blah blah. Like I think, and then you need to have people who are like kind of chill. Maybe the person who's kind of the fun person. And I think having a good mix of personalities just helps. And then like allowing people to separate from the group when they want to. Just because you're on a group trip doesn't mean everybody has to do everything together.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think those are some ways to sort of save your group trip.
Yes, and traveling for a living, like how do you make that a reality? Or what are some tips you would say for those who would like to make that more of a reality, where they're saying, you know what, they're at a point in life where they're not, even though it's Monday to Friday, etc., if they can hit at least a country quarterly, however, how would you recommend to someone to make that more their reality?
I don't travel for a living, so I don't really know how to tell someone how to do that. I think that's a common misperception. Travel for me is a hobby. I mean, obviously, sometimes I have to travel for work. Like I was just in Italy for work. But I don't travel for a living. It's just a hobby that I enjoy, so I do it pretty often.
Okay.
But to that end, I think that there's I don't know. I have to also say we're living in this time and space where everyone's like, quit your job and travel the world. I don't necessarily think that's a good idea, because the thing is, like, if you're not used to traveling, you're gonna get burned out. And so I always see these new travel bloggers, and then I look up 6 months later, they haven't been anywhere, because you can get really burned out. And I think we're seeing that happening a lot with travel influencers right now. I think there's a very short window of time during which people tend to travel.
Yeah.
But I think if you want to incorporate more travel into your life, you just have to know that it's possible. Like, chase the deal, not the destination. So if you just want to travel, then put on, like Google Flights, theflightdeal.com, airfare spot, a lot of planning. I don't. I think that you just have to decide that you're going to do something and then just do it.
Okay, yeah, I agree. And in terms of like when someone is eventually going to travel, would you this whole thing with like Airbnb going on, and recently there's been some things happening that are quite unsafe for people, and I know over here in like Canada they've risen the age to like booking an Airbnb 25 and things of that nature. So do you like recommend Airbnb, or would you prefer, like, I know I see you have hotel recommendations on your site, so what would you like more recommend to people, or does it depend on where they're going?
I mean, honestly, like I use Airbnb. I typically use Airbnb if I'm traveling with large groups, because like I prefer to stay in like houses and stuff when I'm with a big group. Yeah. If I'm alone, I typically do prefer a hotel, but that's just because of how I like to travel. I enjoy having a bar at the hotel, being able to get food at the hotel if I don't feel like going out. Like, I like having a gym. So that's the way I like to travel. I think for some people enjoy hostels. Like, it's a great way to meet people, especially if you're on a budget. But I don't think anything is off limits. And there is not one particular thing that I always do. I think it really just depends on your personal travel style. But yeah, I still think largely Airbnb is safe. I think, one thing happens and it's on the news, but they don't say, okay, Airbnb has X millions of bookings per year.
Yeah.
And okay, this one thing happened here. Even if there's 10 incidents, even if there's 20 incidences,
it's still.
They have. I'm pretty sure they're at millions of bookings now. Yeah. So I think we have to remember that. Remember, I said we need to take negative stories with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
So you can meet people who use Airbnb and all the time who haven't had an issue, and someone who used it one time and they had an issue and now they'll swear it off forever.
Agreed once again. And I'm almost done. I'll almost let you go, Jessica. Thank you so much. But another thing, one of my favorite things to watch, because I myself am a bit of a nerd, is TED Talk. And it was so bomb for me. I love when, I'm just going to say it, when I see Black people doing TED Talk. It's not very often, in my opinion. So people like Karen Civil, yourself, just a few of the Black women I've seen been able to do a TED Talk in the U.S. So a good person. What inspired you? What was that experience like? Like everything. We know everything. Like, what?
You know what? Like, it was so stressful.
It had to be. It had to be.
So they actually reached out to me to do it right after I finished. I was actually still in the Seychelles, and I was like, no, I'm good. Like, my dream was always to do a TED Talk, but I was just like, I am good because I'm really tired and I want to give myself a chance to rest.
Yeah.
And the executive producer of TEDx Detroit basically convinced me to do it. I guess I got a judgment. But the thing is, you can't have, there is no teleprompter. So you have to memorize it. And I've never memorized the speech. So I do a lot of public speaking, but I never, ever, ever memorize. I'm all about just like, talking off the cuff because it's all based on how I feel on that day. Yeah. And so this was a very different experience for me. And so I was freaking out. And eventually I was like, all right, I can't try to memorize this because that's just not going to work for my brain. And so then I just decided to just wing it. And that's what I ended up doing. And I used the images as prompts. And it worked. great. Like, I'm really happy with how it came out. Yeah, in the end, it was really, really great, but it was stressful doing it, for sure.
What inspired you to choose that topic?
So, the theme of TED is, like, ideas worth spreading.
Yeah.
And so I really wanted to think, like, what is something worthy of, this is TEDx, but, it's still the TEDx stage. And for me, it's like, I didn't want to talk about what was I going to do, like how to travel to every country in the world. That, to me, that's not an idea worth spreading because, climate change and a number of other things.
Yeah.
But what I want to, and I continue to want to share the lessons that I've learned from travel. And I think the biggest lesson is most people are good because we're taught to fear our strangers. In particular in the U.S., it's like, oh, lock your doors, do this, do that, and it's like, well, who are we hiding from? So yeah, that's just how that came about for me. I just thought that was an idea worth spreading.
Okay, I loved watching it. I like your view or your sharing of the experience is just flabbergasting me because I would have never picked up on any of that based on what I've seen. So thank you for just being so open about that. And even witnessing you, because of you, I definitely said I have to go to Africa this year. Like watching your trip, I said for sure 2020, I have to go there. And I've also been in recent not too recent, but just really in search of just my family roots and so far I've gotten as far back to the Maasai tribe and things like that. But how important, yeah, so I'm just trying to learn more. If you have any fun facts, feel more than free to send it over. But how important is, I know we kind of touched on it before, but how important is knowing where your ancestry comes from and learning that history? How important is that to you, and how do you feel like that can be an impact for those to come, or generations coming behind us?
Yeah, that's interesting because I grew up knowing I was Ugandan, right? And so for me, I don't know the alternatives, if you will.
For myself, I was Canadian. I didn't.
Right.
Right?
Yeah. So I think, it's kind of hard for me to answer that question because I've always known. I'm obviously incredibly proud to be Ugandan, and it's a huge part of who I am. But I think you can also be a whole person and not know where your great-great-grandparents came from. I think it's really, if you want to figure it out, I think that's great. But I also think that you have to celebrate where you are and what you have. I don't know much about the history of Black people in Canada, but as far as Black people in the U.S., Black American culture is the most.
I was saying I'm first generation for my family here, but just in the sense of even me, even you saying this right now is the first time I've ever spoken to a Black person that has had this answer. So as it is something new for you to be well, I always kind of knew where I came from. It's so crazy for me to hear a Black person say this. I'm happy, but it's on my side of the world, it's a rarity, right? And then you have things I don't really agree with, Ancestry.com, but you have things like that are now helping certain people to be able to trace that lineage, and some people feel like that is a part of their completion to knowing who they are.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, but that's dope.
For those people, but I just really hope that people, realize that they're a whole entire person, even if they never find out that information. I think again, it's good, but I don't want people to be stuck there and feel like that's somehow a block for them because it shouldn't be.
Yeah, and a fun question question I kind of like to ask in closing is the elements, right? I won't share what mine is, but you have fire, water, wind, air. Which one do you choose and why?
Water, all day, every day. I just love the water. I love being by water. I love being in water. I love looking at water. Yeah, water is just a thing for me. Like, I feel at peace when I hear the waves. When I'm riding on water, like, luckily I never get sick. But yeah, definitely water for me. And, you know, we need water to live. Yeah.
Same.
Okay, what's water?
Same. I literally love the fact that in any environment, water finds a way to prosper. If it seems like there's no cracks or anything to get through, water will find a way or will sit on top and eventually evaporate. Like, it's just so, it heals you. It's everything. So I love to just, I know it's random. I'm a random person. But that is a question I like to ask. And also, downtown, it stands for, which is the name of my blog, and it stands for Don't Waste No Time with Negativity. And
I love that.
Yeah, it's a question we love to ask every single person that I have the chance to speak with. So what is a way that you do not waste any time with negativity?
Probably unfollowing people on the internet.
Love it.
And, like, yeah, and, like, you know, being very conscious about what I'm filling my time with, and just being conscious of, like, the energy I'm putting out, and cutting people out where necessary. So even if you've been friends with someone for decades, that doesn't necessarily mean they have to stay in your life. Yeah.
So confident. Love it. And it is the time of love, even though I don't really, I don't want to push my ideas out there, but, you know, as my brother would say, piagan ting that, right? So, just for the sake of, for fun, any love tips or sexy tips for our ladies and gents out there?
Oh, girl. I'm very single. I'm probably not the person to be asking. I don't know. The only thing I would say is, like, stay open to what the universe brings into your life. That's the biggest thing. Like, I think, you know, many times we may be wanting love or partnership or, you know, one-night stand. So I think you have to just be open. You never know what form that person may take. And being open is probably the best way to ensure that it comes into your life.
Beautiful. I love one of the main focuses for me over the past couple of years has just been to say yes. And the worst possible thing that it can be is no. And that in my path has led me to meeting and being able to have the privilege to speaking with bomb people like yourself. And I feel like just accepting the world of love and just trying to radiate that out and not focusing on the negative aspects and what the bad things that people have to say and the people that don't support or the people that don't buy, like, don't focus on that and focus on what is happening. And I feel like that alone will just lead you naturally to, like, where you need to be, and it makes your daily experiences more fun. I feel like when you see the world in that perspective, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So I'm wishing you, Jessica, nothing but love, and I'm hoping that you just continue to be yourself, because by you being yourself is inspiring young women like myself, and I'm sure plenty of others, and not just women, but, you know, I can only speak for myself, and just don't stop what you are doing. I hope in the near future I'm able to plan something through Jet Black, and I'd love for everyone to support and to do that, because I'm sure if it was Kim Kardashian or someone offering a service like this, everyone would be on it. So please don't stop what you are doing. Keep having the conversations you are having. And thank you again for joining us this week. And Is there anything that you would like to share? Where can people find you if they like to get in contact?
Yeah, so you can find me all over the internet at the Touch Me If You Can.
Yay. So thank you so much again. This concludes this week's episode of Downtown Podcast, She Hustle segment. And thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.